In 2015, El-Rufai came. To many of us, we saw him as someone who have read very well, who is exposed, and considering his antecedent as the former minister of the FCT, we had high hope. Unfortunately, it wasn't long. He turned our hope into sorrow. Southern Kaduna became an area where every week you are either burying people 20, 30, or 40. Large number of people were kidnapped. If you even cry out and show concern that things have happened to you, El-Rufai do not have that human sympathy or empathy to show concern. Instead, he will address you badly, he will castigate you and even call you names. Well,
hello and what's up, guys? In this video, we are diving into a shocking revelations about former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Northerners are now coming out boldly, calling him a liar, accusing him of arming bandits and blaming his policies for endless bloodshed and mass burials in Southern Kaduna. Reverend John Joseph Hayab, the chairman of Accusations of Nigeria in the 19 northern state and Abuja, has dropped heavy words. He said El-Rufai's recent comments about the population of Southern Kaduna are not only false but dangerously divisive. According to him, El-Rufai twisted figures, claiming Southern Kaduna people are just 25% of the state, and even bragged that he had no regret about his decision in office. But here is where it gets disturbing. Reverend Hayab recalls how under El-Rufai's watch, Southern Kaduna communities became mass graves. Every week, people were being buried 20, 30, sometimes 40 at a time. Families were wiped out, villages attacked, and kidnappings were rampant. And instead of showing sympathy, El-Rufai allegedly insulted the victims, dismissed their cries, and called them names. Now, the shocking part. Hayab said El-Rufai himself admitted that he gave money to bandits, claiming it was to stop the killings. But instead of peace, those funds were allegedly used by bandits to buy more weapons, leading to even deadlier attacks. Men, women, children, even mothers killed in their hundreds. And Southern Kaduna was left to carry out mass burials day after day. Hayab insists El-Rufai abandoned the region, funneling state resources to only one side of Kaduna, while Southern Kaduna community live in pain, poverty, and neglect. He described the ex-governor as a leader with no conscience, no empathy, and someone who deliberately caused division to push his own agenda. But guys, listen to this. He says El-Rufai's bitterness today is because peace has returned under the current government. For more than a year now, Southern Kaduna has not witnessed the kind of massacres seen during El-Rufai's tenure. And yet, instead of apologizing, El-Rufai keeps making statements that Reverend Hayab says are dangerously insulting and meant to provoke tension. Guys, this is heavy. The question is, was El-Rufai truly trying to protect Kaduna, or did his policies fuel one of the deadliest chapters in the state history? Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
I think I need to put this clear. In 1999, when Nigeria returned to democracy, Alhaji Ahmed Mohamed Makarfi became governor. Many people were still angry with the military juntas. Many people were not yet certain with what democracy was going to bring. There were anger, there were resentment. Somehow, we find ourselves with the Sharia crisis that was not actually a problem of Kaduna, but was imported from Zamfara to Kaduna. Makarfi, in his wisdom, managed it and brought the people together. Then, in 2007, Architect Namadi Sambo came on board as governor. He actually was the one who established what today we call in Kaduna Operation Yaki. He came and launched that to further consolidate security and promote unity. God elevated him to become the Vice President of Nigeria, and Mr. Patrick Ibami Yakowa became governor. He worked to promote that togetherness, to further encourage people to be together. Then death struck, and Yakowa was no more. Ramalan Yero also became governor and did his best to continue to promote unity. In 2015, El-Rufai came. To many of us, we saw him as someone who have read very well, who is exposed, and considering his antecedent as the former minister of the FCT, we had high hope. Unfortunately, it wasn't long. He turned our hope into sorrow. Southern Kaduna became an area where every week you are either burying people 20, 30, or 40. Large number of people were kidnapped. If you even cry out and show concern that things have happened to you, El-Rufai do not have that human sympathy or empathy to show concern. Instead, he will address you badly, he will castigate you and even call you names. Well, he had his tenure and his tenure is over. But this statement he made 2 days ago, he actually started making that statement when he was planning to bring his Muslim ticket to Kaduna. In one of his interview, precisely in December 2016, he now said that Southern Kaduna were actually 30%. That's why some of us find it very interesting to hear him now saying that Southern Kaduna are 25%. The question here is that which data? Which data did he use? Is it the data by the National Population Commission or his self-created data? I had the privilege to be part of the National Population Commission exercise of 2006-2007. I remember very well that when the population figure came out, Southern Kaduna had increased beyond what you can imagine. As I said in my statement, the Kaduna Sharia Committee threatened Namadi Sambo to take MPC to court because they felt that the Southern Kaduna population was more than what in their own thinking it should be. I was even asked to serve in a committee at that time. And I told them I'm not going to serve in a committee. I would prefer we meet them in court so that we can justify our figures. Fortunately for us, they saw reason and they had no reason to continue and backed out. El-Rufai came up with this divisive idea by equating the population of Southern Kaduna with the Muslims in Plateau, because that was the language he used in 2016. He said the Muslims in the Plateau are 30%, just like the Christians in Kaduna are 30%. So if the Muslims in Plateau are not given deputy governor, the Christians in Kaduna shouldn't be given deputy governor. He deliberately brought that kind of conversation to use it to justify his agenda. Now that he is no more, instead of allowing Kaduna to live in peace, and knowing that he had no accurate and credible data, he is still coming back again to further insult the people he allowed to be killed, to further insult the people he allowed to pass through pens, the people he used Kaduna State money to develop one site and abandon them.
All right, Reverend.
Nigerians to know that El-Rufai is a liar and always twist facts to justify his personal agenda.
Right. Reverend, thank you for that background information, because in a way it reflects your own side of the story. But for the purpose of clarity and in proper perspectives, how would you, describe the lived realities of Southern Kaduna communities, and how do these realities differ from the narratives promoted by former Governor Nasir El-Rufai?
Thank you very much. I've listened several times when people want to justify this selfish and narrow-minded argument about our population. The impression is that, no, the Southern Kaduna people are Christians, and in Christian theology, people do not marry more than a wife. So they cannot give, and most of them who are in the cities that we know give birth to 3 children, 2 children, 4 children. And I can prove them wrong. I don't even just want to say it on the media. I want people to move to Southern Kaduna, to move to villages. I can call my brother Sam, who is my younger brother or cousin. Sam has more than 7 and 8 children. I can call Kaura, who is also my brother, who has about 18 children with 3 wives. You see, because I, Pastor Hayab, chose to have 1 wife and few children, have not in any way make others not to have children. So that argument itself is false. And we have many other reasons to prove that our people have children. We don't inflict figures the way we know it is being done in other parts of northern Nigeria. We want our real figure to be seen, and our figure is enough to prove that we are over that percentage as he said. If you put Southern Kaduna as just the 8 local government that make up Southern Kaduna Senatorial District, we are even more than 35%. If you put Southern Kaduna with Kajuru and Chukun local government and Kaduna South, part of Kaduna South, and also put Southern Kaduna with Lere local government, we are above 50%. So anybody who will come today to tell us that Southern Kaduna is 25% or 30% is not fair.
All right.
Go back to the National Population Census and look at the figures.
Because some Nigerians think this conversation is more than the population. I mean, he also says he regrets, or he has no regret about his policies towards the Southern Kaduna region. And I'm wondering, what was your immediate reaction when you heard that statement? Did it come across as dismissive of the pain or concerns of the people from the region? Do you think this kind of public stance emboldens division or discourages healing?
Any and every reasonable and sensible leader, be him a political leader, a military leader, a traditional leader, a religious leader, should not make such kind of statement on his people. The people who gave you mandate to govern them, the people who gave you opportunity to lead them for 8 years, you will say what you did to them. You have no regret. Simply El-Rufai is saying he has no regret when he collected huge billions of naira in the name of urban renewal and chose not to develop Southern Kaduna and abandon Southern Kaduna, but in payment, Southern Kaduna people will be part of those who will be paying the loan. He has no regret about that. For those who do not know Kaduna, when El-Rufai collected huge loan for his urban renewal, he started constructing roads in the northern part of Kaduna. In southern part of Kaduna, that is even in Kaduna metropolis, in Barnawa and Sabon Tasha, if you drive to that place now as I'm speaking to you in this studio, you will see a spot where he brought Buhari to commission the road, but abandoned over 1 to 3 kilometers of the road. Nothing has been done because he eventually squandered the money before he left, and he has no regret. Southern Kaduna were killed, maimed. He even claimed to have given bandit money in the name to stop killing in Southern Kaduna, only to have armed them to get more weapons to kill us in hundreds, kill our wives, kill our children, kill our mothers, cause us to be doing mass burial every day, which we've not done in the past 2 years. And I believe that's the reason why he is worried and is making this kind of statement. He still have no regret. That shows you that he is a leader who had no conscience. Even if we do not understand him, I think a responsible leader will say, I'm deeply sorry. Most of the things I did it in good conscience. But if it hurts you, I'm sorry. But to say he has no regret shows you that he is not only doing it, he did it deliberately to hurt us. He did it deliberately to cause us pain. He did it deliberately to shame us as Christians. He did it deliberately to make us look as if we are not human. Unfortunately, he failed, because after all he did, we are even stronger and better off than what he did before. Let me give you one scenario. A young boy in Sabon Tasha. Sabon Tasha is in Kaduna. Sabon Tasha is just about 2.5 kilometers away from the main heart of Kaduna. The boy, his mother took him one day to the city, or to the other part of Kaduna North, just to go and buy something. When the boy saw that part of Kaduna, he told his mother, we are not living in Kaduna. And the mother asked him why. He said, how can we live in such a very bad road and then Kaduna looks like this? Then this one is not Kaduna. That was the Kaduna El-Rufai gave to us. Right. That was the kind of Kaduna El-Rufai was going to media and tell it. So he has no regret, because he deliberately wanted to cheat us, cheat the next generation. But you see, God has a way. I've told our people that, you see, if El-Rufai chose not to construct road for us so that we'll continue to go to mechanics, if God is God, a time will come, another governor will come, who will realize that all the roads where El-Rufai have built are good, and he will come and build our own roads.
All right, Reverend.
So our road will be newer, and then those roads will be old.
So, Reverend, having mentioned these specific policies that were unjust or harmful to the Southern Kaduna people, were there any attempts by Khan or community leaders to challenge these policies during his tenure? And if that happened, what was the government's response when these concerns were raised?
I want to put it clear to Nigerians to know, El-Rufai is not my enemy. El-Rufai just became a leader who do not have empathy and lack human conscience. And that's why I challenge him. But El-Rufai knows very well that I was among those who promoted him, thinking he is a civilized person, he is someone who will do different. Unfortunately, he did not do it. When El-Rufai started this policy of division, policy of neglect, the first thing he did, one among the first things he did was to come on the TV like this and said that the Southern Kaduna people did not vote him when he came to power in 2015. And I went to him. I didn't come to on television. I went to him one-on-one. If he's watching me, he will know I did this. I sat and I told him, why will you even say this? He was saying, I said, wait a minute, let's just use 3 local governments. Number 1, Jama'ah local government. In the election of 2015, the total vote cast in that local government was 86,000 votes. You got 39,300 and something votes. And the other PDP candidate got 40-something thousand votes. And he now say, oh, it is true, Reverend. I actually got 47.8%. So why are you saying? And the requirement of the law is for you to just have 25% in certain number of local government. In Kachia local government, the total vote cast was over 62,000. And the difference between him and the other person was just 1,000. Kachia is in Southern Kaduna. Jama'ah is in Southern Kaduna. But let me come back. In Kagoko local government, he won. It is Southern Kaduna. In Kaulu local government, he won. Even in Sanga. And I asked him, why will you say they didn't vote for you? He now say he's sorry, he's going to correct that. But because he had already prepared his mind to deal with the people, he did not change. So we took effort. I can tell you my own example. I confronted him. We had this conversation. Apostle Kure and other people went to him. So many leaders. Look, he was more like a terror. So nobody was free to speak to him. I met him one-on-one. When he failed to listen, I spoke these things I'm saying today on television for him to know they are true. But he was someone who was adamant and was not willing to listen. He was busy even castigating and lying against most of our religious leaders of blessed memory, like people like Bishop Bogobiri. He was saying that I started people who are causing problems.
You know,
so we did consult him, but he refused to change.
Right. Because when that statement was made, what came to mind was the level of unrest Southern Kaduna experienced during his tenure. I mean, with many blaming his policies for deepening the crisis. Between 2016 and 2023, Southern Kaduna saw repeated attacks on mostly Christian farming communities. And many feel the response from the state government was weak or biased. I mean, there were cases where the government referred to those killings as reprisals. Do you think this helped or in any case worsened the situation at that time until now?
The truth is that most of the reason why the killing went unabated is because of the rhetoric of El-Rufai. Remember what he did on the eve of 2019 election, how he came out and made statements and come up and say things against the Kajuru people. He even locked up the Kajuru elders. So El-Rufai never managed the conflict well. And I'm sorry that I have to say it on public, in the national media, that El-Rufai is angry and bitter today because what he could not achieve, his predecessor is achieving in less than 2.5 years, because the peace that has restored in Kaduna, people are now, look, in the last 12 months, you cannot remember any report of attack on communities and killing. The fact is that I know I can say this for him to come and refute it, that he is even in anger. He has planted some young boys who used to, in the last 1 month, plant story that so-so person was kidnapped, and there is nobody where, no story of kidnap, just to make people feel that we are still back to the era of kidnap.
Right, but Reverend, because of our time,
something that has reduced. So El-Rufai has really not helped in uniting the people, but further dividing the people.
Right.
He even, I know in the last few months, he has gone and be instigating imams in Kaduna so that they will come up with issues that will create tension.
Right, Reverend, but you do not have any evidence to back up
and we will not
this claim. But there are those who have
No, I have evidence. If you need it, I can forget further to give you as I'm speaking to you now. Just ask me, do I have evidence, and I'll give you the evidence.
All right. But there are those who have argued that, his policies at that time were security driven or reform oriented. But how do you respond to claims that these actions were necessary for the greater good? Could these goals have been achieved without marginalizing an entire region?
Which good will you bring to people when you divide the same people you are governing? When you allow mayhem to destroy the same people you are governing? When you even make terrible statement against the same people you are governing? Which good? I don't think in leadership, the Bible teaches that, look, both leaders and subjects must ensure that their word is seasoned with salt and be gracious in speech. El-Rufai has no grace when it comes to speech. El-Rufai just believes that any rubbish he throws there, any garbage he throws there, people should take it. And he feels that no one can respond to him. And that's why I said he did not show maturity as a leader. You remember one of his arguments those days that in the north there are no elders. If there are elders, they are the elders. Unfortunately, he didn't show the character of an elder.
All right.
He's even a disgrace to being an elder. So that's what is happening, and that's what he has lost out, seeing progress happening in the state, seeing people coming to embrace one another, seeing faith leaders coming to sit together and discuss, no more killing, no more mass burial. So in anger and bitterness, he now used another opportunity to now tell people he now moved from his 30% to 25% and say he has no regret. It's unfortunate. And every leader must learn to unite his people, not destroy his people.
Right. So in less than 1 minute, from your perspective, what would justice and reconciliation look like for the people of Southern Kaduna?
As far as people of Southern Kaduna are concerned, we are citizens of Kaduna, Nigeria, citizens of Kaduna State. We have nowhere to go and no one can chase us out. We are only simply talking to our Muslim brothers in the north to say, please don't allow this divisive rhetoric to mislead you. We are brethren. We are one family under God. We have a lot of things to share in common. No community will progress without peace, without unity. Any leader, look, even if it is my brother who comes to promote division, say no to him. And El-Rufai should be one of the people that we should unanimously say no to his divisive language and the disrespect he's showing to the state, because he's even giving his people and his religion a bad name.